Hey everyone, welcome back to the Mill Spill. This episode will be busting the myth that's out there that says posture is not important. There's a whole regimen of therapists and health professionals out there who don't care how you lift, don't care what your posture is in sitting or standing, and don't think it affects any of the pain cycles and patterns that happen out there in our daily life. Um, and to, on the opposite end, there's other professionals out there that feel that posture is the only thing that's important. And I think I'm in somewhere in between on where I stand with that. There are for sure external devices that are used to correct posture. You'll see braces and little electric stimulators that go on people's back to correct their posture. And I just don't believe that those are the most useful tools. The best way to improve your posture is to get stronger and to get stronger in postures that are maybe uncomfortable. So let me just take a little bit of a step back and talk about posture. So, why it's so important and why it leads to breakdown and pain and injury is because our body's meant to move. I've had this discussion with some colleagues of mine, and we all think that this starts with a school aged kid. You know, our youngsters, they're constantly moving, squatting, bending, running, jumping throughout their whole day. And then they get into school and they sit for 8 hours a day with minimal breaks and minimal physical activity. And so, even from a young age, we can start to see changes in their posture. And when this happens, we call it hanging on ligaments. So, this rounded, slumped position where we get into, where we watch video games or watch our screens, or especially now when we're learning remotely, we get into these poor slouched postures. Our head is forward, our back is rounded, and because it's comfortable, we're sitting on our couches or lounge chairs, and we're not upright in a chair or sitting on a ball to keep stability throughout our trunk and low back. That all the stress sits on the ligaments and on the joints in and around the area of the spine. And this has a cascade of effect that goes down and affects what muscles are being used or not used, as well as different stressors on the nervous system and the tissues are in and around that area. So posture is a crucial factor in why we break down, because if we're sitting for 8 hours a day in poor posturing, we get stiffened up, especially in the neck, in the low back, in the mid back. And we just kind of what I call hanging out on our ligaments, and we're not actually using anything to sit upright. So, what is the strategies for this to correct it? So, one of the things you can do is never, if you're sitting in an office chair or at home in a recliner or on your couch, and you're doing this, you want to make sure that you sit away from the back of the chair. Don't let your back touch. And always keep both feet firmly placed on the ground. This alone will have you and force you to keep your stomach engaged and not let you kind of fall back into these poor postures where we're leaning back in our chairs and we're rounding forward. Okay, it's just not a good posture. So if you're sitting at the edge of your chair and your back is not touching the back of the chair, you can keep an upright posture. And another thing that I like to keep in mind is I always tell patients chest over pelvis. This position right here will make sure that you keep your core engaged, and using some other trunk muscles to keep you upright and keep the stressors off of the ligaments of the spine and actually use your spine in a stacked position. Building is strongest when it's stacked right on top of each other. And so are blocks like your kids play with or whatever. And when you have that, you are much stronger to support yourself. So when you're like a slinky and your back's like a slinky, you tend to have more issues in regards to keeping proper posture. So Is it important? 100%. Does it cause breakdown? Yes. These are just a few tips that help keep us in the proper position alignment and keep us stronger throughout our day. So if you can try those few tips, you might have less breakdown at your spine and less injury and pain. Now, that being said, if you continue to have issues with pain, stiffness, lack of mobility, and then need to work on strengthening, I would consult a professional who can help you address those specific areas of need, whether you need more mobility or you need to reduce the amount of mobility or motion you have and get stronger. Both of those can be addressed with the proper professional. I obviously am biased to physical therapy, but you can choose to go that route and invest in yourself, like I always say, get stronger and improve your posture that way instead of using these external devices to keep you upright and to keep you going throughout your day. So try that. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below and I'd be happy to answer them. Thanks, guys. Bye.